Okay, in today's episode of Cooking with Clay, we're going to cook a vegetable omelet and put it on a wrap. So, the idea behind this video is to be able to teach people that don't cook that much, go to McDonald's all the time, that you don't need much experience and you can learn how to buy a couple simple ingredients and cook as well. All right, the first thing we're going to do is we have vegetables that are going to be put into our omelet. So I already took care of cleaning them, and I have them ready to cut and then saute to put into our frying pan. The next thing we have is the wrap, which is going to go in the toaster oven, and the last thing is the eggs that we're going to put together. So I will get all those ingredients going and show you how to prepare them. Okay, so first I have a couple of whole mushrooms that I bought because the ones at the store that are pre-sliced have been looking pretty mushy. I have an onion that I peeled the skin off of, cut the ends off of, so it's ready just to chop up and put into our eggs. And then a regular pepper, bell pepper, that I already cut the core, the stem out of, and you can shake most of the seeds out of that to prepare it. So I'm going to slice off what I need and get ready to saute it. So what I like to do first, I always put my temperature on medium. So that way, while you're cutting your vegetables, you have your pan heating and it'll be ready by the time you have them sliced up and ready to saute them. Okay, now that I have everything sliced up, we're going to take some butter and okay, so I just used a stick of butter and wiped it around the pan so it'll be ready to saute. Okay, and then you just pour your vegetables into the pan, spread them around so they're ready to go. Okay, and then put the lid on with the butter and let that go for a little bit. Okay, so it's been about 4 or 5 minutes that these have been cooking. They look pretty good, so I'm going to put them in a bowl, set them aside. Okay, the next thing you want to do, and again I wish I had a third hand, is get your eggs. And today I'm going to make a bigger omelet because I got the bigger tortilla shells, so need a little more egg to fill them out. Just you can even do it with one hand like they do on TV, and have there you go. Wow, didn't even break one yolk on that. If I was trying not to break a yolk, I'd break a yolk. And that's no yolk. And the next thing that I like to do is add a little bit of cream. Or I should say half and half. There you go. Okay, now that you have that in there, since I don't have a whisk, I'm going to beat these eggs like they owe me money. Okay, now let's take a look at our, see how our vegetables are coming. I get used to filming with a camera so you can see what I'm actually doing. Sounds easier than it is. Okay, those are cooking up nice. Give them a couple more minutes here. Okay, so it's been about 5 minutes, 4 or 5 minutes that these been cooking. They look pretty good. So I'm going to put them in a bowl, set them aside. Once you get all your vegetables out of the pan, still got some grease in it, but since eggs will stick, if the pan's not really greased good, I'll hit it again with another thing of butter. Okay, and take your eggs and pour them in. Yum, yum, yum. Okay. Next, all those delicious vegetables that you spent all that time cleaning and getting ready are now ready to just drop and go. Look at them shroomies. Whew. I usually give them a little bit more time to cool off before I scoop them out by hand, but since I'm new to cooking and making videos and coordinating, and that's on the improvement list. Okay. Now, the other secret ingredient that I never cook without. This is like my secret sauce. Colonel Sanders had his 12 herbs and spices. I got garlic peppers. You just sprinkle a little of that on. There you go. Now, I typically make this omelet style. I'm going to do a video next week on how you can actually do it scrambled egg style in an Instapot. Because in Instapot, you got to stir it a lot more. But for the shell, this works pretty good because it really comes out with a good consistency. The egg is in one piece. There we go. Put the lid on. That helps it cook a little bit quicker. And like I said, I always just tilt it a little bit. I know it's got these things on it to vent, but it just seems to work quicker that way. To finish, the last thing I like to top it off with is Tostitos Chunky Salsa. I would recommend the mild if you have indigestion problems. Thank you. Now, one of the secrets that I like to do for knowing when to flip this over is if you, I don't know if it shows up here, but right here where this edge is, it's starting to get a little drier on top. Once you start seeing the whole omelet get drier, like over here, that's still wet and shiny, so it'll be hard to pick it up and flip it. And you want it a little more well done when you flip it anyway. That way it's almost cooked by the time you're finished. And you can just sprinkle some cheese on it and finish it off. And when you do it this method too, about the time the top it mostly dries, then the bottom gets nice and brown. Okay, we're getting pretty close to flipping time. This side might be a little goopy, but you can kind of work your way around to the dry side first. Like I said, I'm trying to stay way out of the cameras. The other side's way here. Okay, yeah, this is pretty good. Oh. Wow. Yeah, that looks good. There you go. And then when you flip it over, try to put as few holes as possible into it, because when you put your cheese on top, you don't want no holes in your omelet because then it melts to the pan, see? When you put your cheese on, I'm going to use Sargento Cheddar Jack shredded cheese. Yummy. Just sprinkle a little bit on there. Okay. Then put the lid back on because that helps it melt quicker. Then at this point, I just let it build up a little bit more heat. It's almost ready to shut your burner off because it's done. You just want the cheese to melt. Put the lid on, build a little heat and steam back up in there. Okay, and then we'll flip off temperature so we're good there. All right, it's almost ready to put on the tortilla shell. Let's take our lid off. Look at that. That cheese is melted. That took about 30 seconds. We'll scoop this and put it on top of our tortilla shell. Boy, look at that. Look at that fit. Look at those eggs in that tortilla shell. It's almost like the people that made the pan and the tortilla shells are in conspiracy together to make the perfect breakfast. And then we'll get a couple spoons of salsa. I usually put it right down the middle because you're going to fold it in half anyway. Okay. You just want enough. Okay, so now we're ready to go. All we have to do is just fold it over. Kind of squish it so it behaves when you try and eat it. And that's how you make yourself a super vegetable egg burrito with cheese on a weekend. You could do it during the workday, but you better make sure you don't wake up late. Okay, well, I enjoyed making this video and bringing this delicious food to myself. And I'm gonna go eat.